to heed the words he said, but that was yesterday. Gold will turn to gray and youth will fade away. They'll never care about you, call you old and in the way.
Welcome to another episode of Two Old Men in Chairs. I'm Corrin Strong.
And I'm Howard Appel.
Today, Friday, May 6th, we have the debut of a new Tom MacDonald song, The System. It just came out a couple hours ago. We have previewed it a couple times because Howard's seen it once, I've seen it 2 or 3 times because we are old and a little slow. So we kind of have to have a little help on these. But this is the first song that he's actually done just himself. You know, he had that joint album with Adam Calhoun and some other folks, and the last 3 or 4 videos have been off that album, but this is something all new. Mm-hmm. He did a couple, features with Dax. He did a couple features with Madchild back earlier in his career. But for the most part, he's done most of his work solo, a few with his girlfriend Nova. He's back into his political bag, which is the one I'm particularly fond of with this song. That much is clear. So we'll go ahead and give it a listen and see what we think. He looks pretty threatening there with the facial tattoos, the piercings, and the braids. I don't know if he's got black eyes in. He may have his black eye contacts in too.
Welcome to the world, baby boy. I'll paint you red and white and blue. The indoctrination starts as soon as you come out the womb. Pretty quick, we'll make you stupid with curriculums at school. And if the classroom doesn't do the trick, we'll make you watch the news. Pick your team, right or left, take the red pill or the blue. You can vote, but even if you win, still everyone will lose. Don't forget to buy designer because Gucci makes you cool. We prioritize material belongings over truth. Get a job that you can't stand so you can buy some cans of food. Go overseas and die for freedom, there's some oil we could use. Our democracy exists so that you think that you can choose, but our algorithms make you do what we want you to do.
Whew. To me, to have him hovering over the baby's bed cradle there is very threatening. Like he's an adult and obviously the baby is helpless and he's telling the baby, hey baby, you don't have a chance. We've got everything rigged against you. The algorithms will make you do what we want you to do.
Well, I'm already putting together a little defense in my brain, only because I'm thinking, and let me just ask, what society or culture on earth now or historically doesn't do that to their children? Name one.
Well, the one I grew up in, and I think you grew up in it too.
Okay, good answer. It's a good answer, but maybe not. Maybe another one.
Every culture is going to have its preferences, its cultural quirks, but what's happened now is much more sinister, I think. Sure, there was bad things that people were programmed. People were programmed to be racist. People were programmed to be warlike. Even the Native Americans who were here on this continent before us, took great pleasure in going out on war parties and torturing people. So, yeah, there's bad things in our culture, but now it's reached a level with the algorithms and the computer where a small group of people can control, or the system can control, the entire world. And that's a new level of evil.
Our democracy exists so that you think that you can choose, but our algorithms make you do what we want you to do. What's the problem? Your depressed society has you confused. We got medication for you that you'll probably abuse. Go get married to a lady who also don't have a clue, and pump out a few babies that are just the same as you. Welcome to the system, everyone's a victim. Doesn't matter if you're black or white, it hates you all.
That's his chorus. Welcome to the system, everyone's a victim. It doesn't matter if you're black or white. It being the system, hates you all.
I would presume democracy, but a mirage to fool us into thinking we have some sort of self-determination. Seems like he's saying that here.
I think he's saying that, and I'm kind of agreeing with him because look at the most recent election.
Well,
did it matter who got the most votes?
But if we get rid of democracy, what replaces it?
What we have to do is get democracy back to being the republic that it was and living by the rules that we used to live by, the rule of law being the most important rule. Because once you have two systems of justice one for one party and one for the other, you don't really have justice at all.
So you're really saying, and he's generalizing here, but you're saying what's corrupt is the current version of democracy that we're presented with.
Well, I don't even like the word democracy because we don't live in a democracy. We live in a democratic republic. And the people vote, and then the representatives are supposed to represent them.
But he seems to maybe be attacking that very notion, don't you think?
I don't think so, no. I think he's saying everything has gotten very corrupt, and the system has gained so much power that the old rules that we grew up believing in, of rule and law and constitutional order, no longer apply. And in my view, he's saying we got to get back to the system that did work.
I don't think he mentioned the word marriage. He's just talking about the whole act of reproduction and having babies, man and woman having babies. That he seems to think is some sort of, like democracy, some sort of, we're tricked into it.
There's nothing wrong with having babies. In fact, we need more babies, not less. But if the babies are going to be born into the system and have, just like he's standing over the crib, telling the new babies, hey, this is how it's going to be. And if that's just going to continue, that's a problem. Anyway, let's get back, we'll finish up the chorus and we'll get into the next verse in which he talks about little girls.
If you're black or white, it hates you all. Here inside the system, violence is a symptom. Fighting for what's right, but somehow everyone is wrong. Welcome to the system, everyone's a victim. Doesn't matter if you're black or white, it hates you all. Here inside the system, violence is a symptom. Fighting for what's right, but somehow everyone is wrong. Welcome to the world, baby girl. I'll paint you pink if that's okay. We'll encourage self-destruction through the music that you play. We divided all the men by trying politics and race, and honestly, it's working awesome, so for you, we'll do the same. Never teaching you to love yourself, inject you full of hate, objectify your sexuality, then blame you for the rape.
Wow, that's a mouthful there, huh? I mean, the whole thing is so eerie, He's got this little baby, and he's all dressed in black, and he's got a black glove. It's horrifying, really. I mean, he representing the system, the whole objectifying the women, and then blame them when they get raped.
Hate, objectify your sexuality, then blame you for the rape, and weaponize the differences that make our men and women great. Then just to screw with you, erase the genders. Everyone's the same. We'll empower you with rights to vote and fight for equal pay, then have the men turn into women and you'll fight for them again. But you
So just to screw with you, we're going to confuse all the genders and tell you that everyone's the same.
Well, right up until this point, I think he's been pretty much down on the whole system, the right and left aspects of it. But here he particularly attacks this whole new woke agenda.
We'll have men turn into women and then have you fight for them again.
What does that mean to you?
Well, it's about feminists who are willing to have men compete in women's sports, for instance, or in other fields. And because they say they're women, then the feminists are supposed to support them, even though they're not really women. So the women are screwed twice. They're screwed, for being women, and then they're supposed to turn around and support men who are pretending to be women.
Yeah, who are destroying their sports with a different level of competition.
Yeah, you'll fight for them again.
Yeah.
Now, there are some feminists who have said this doesn't make any sense and men shouldn't be allowed to compete. But they a lot of times are getting shot down by the woke feminists,
Absolutely, I've noticed that.
who think that that's all just fine. Anyone who wants to declare himself a woman can be a woman.
I mean, it's a question now, does being a feminist mean you stand up for the female sex and you advocate for it?
It used to mean that.
But it doesn't mean something else.
Now it means something else. Now it means supporting any man that wants to pretend he's a woman.
Had it figured out, but everything has changed. Welcome to the system. Please enjoy your stay. Here's a Bible and a bottle of the cheapest booze we make. Find a man who can take care of you to fill the holes we made. Buy a house and settle down, fulfill your duty, procreate, and make a couple babies who will also do the same.
It's a tough world for the young couples.
But is the old American dream, is that obsolete? Seems like he's almost saying that here, to me, anyways. Maybe I'm hearing something that you don't, but.
I don't think he's saying it's obsolete, but he's saying if you're going to just continue with the brainwashing by the system, it's almost pointless. You've got to break out of that brainwashing, and go back to, the way before we had this kind of a system.
Let's use the word. Sometimes we call it the establishment, sometimes we call it the deep state, here he's calling it the system, military, industrial, now medical complex, but there's something, some select group of elite people behind the scenes determining what's happening, and that's what he's espousing here, I think. And there's probably some truth in it, but
some truth?
I don't know.
I don't know how you go through the last 2 years and not think that there's a bunch of very evil people in this world who have deliberately set out to take control of things.
But the other half of it is the vast number of people that are embracing it. These people would be nothing if it wasn't for, half the population.
Well, that's the effect of the psychological warfare that's been waged against them. They're the Stockholm syndrome. They believe in trust in the people that are oppressing them. Mm-hmm. And there's way too much of that going on. But like he said in the very beginning of the song, we have the algorithms that will make you do what we want you to do. And they do. They've got the algorithms. They've got it figured out because they have at their disposal, these vast levers of power through the media, social media, censorship. They can control what you think, what you believe, what you do.
Of you to fill the holes we made. Buy a house and settle down, fulfill your duty, procreate, and make a couple babies who will also do the same. Welcome to the system, everyone's a victim. Doesn't matter if you're black or white, it hates you all. Here inside the system, violence is a symptom. Fighting for what's right, but somehow everyone is wrong. Welcome to the system, everyone's a victim. Doesn't matter if you're black or white, it hates you all. Here inside the system, violence is a symptom. Fighting for what's right, but somehow everyone is wrong. Welcome to the world, everybody. I'ma paint you black and white. I'ma make you hate each other so that everyone will fight. I'ma give you our religion, let the righteous find the light. But I will also give you science to oppose the word of Christ. And I'ma give you borders, they're imaginary lines. If you cross them, go to war and win when everybody dies. And I'ma give you money that you'll value more than life. And let the 1% have everything while you fight to survive.
I mean, let's look at you and I, two old men here. We're trying, we're looking at these videos, we're putting this stuff out, trying to publicize what we think are some correct ideas, generally speaking, and he said, well, there's no point, that's superficial, why bother, you're not really right, nobody's right.
Well, I'm not saying that, Howard. In my view, what he's doing is he's exposing the system, because that's the very first step you have to take, is to understand that you are in a system. Otherwise, you'll never be able to get out of it. So that's the very first step, is to make people aware that you are in a system, that the 1% is controlling everything and how they're doing it. And then maybe once people begin to wake up to that fact, then constructive change can happen. That's how I'm seeing it.
There is a theme here, which is everything is really screwed up.
Well, I believe that. Yeah. Everything is really screwed up. Yeah. Don't you think so?
Maybe living out in the woods, I don't feel it. Like
you don't feel it?
Living in, not quite to the extent that you do living in Geneseo.
It doesn't matter where you live. Just go online and see what's happening in the world.
Well, maybe you live too much online, and that's probably the difference.
Well, maybe if you don't know what's going on in the world, then you're fat, dumb, and happy.
Online is where a lot of the bad stuff's happening.
The bad stuff is happening in the real world. Now, this 1% that's running things, I don't know what their motives are, but they're behind the pandemic, they're behind the vaccine, they're behind the supply shortages, they're behind the war in Ukraine. The whole world is going to hell. Mm-hmm. And if this is some kind of strategy, I don't know what the end game is other than the destruction of the United States of America. If that's what they want, they're on their way.
If you cross them, go to war and win when everybody dies. And I'ma give you money that you'll value more than life. And let the 1% have everything while you fight to survive. And then I'll give you politics, I'll call it left and right. And while you divide yourselves, I will conquer both the sides. Can't you see? I'm the system, my whole purpose is divide. What you choose will never matter because everything is mine.
I'm the system. It doesn't matter what you choose. Everything is mine. There's no real... You think like if you buy Pepsi instead of Coke, that's a competitive, you want your favorite one over the other, but they own both Pepsi and Coke.
Welcome to the system, everyone's a victim. Doesn't matter if you're black or white, it hates you all. Here inside the system, violence is a symptom. Fighting for what's right, but somehow everyone is wrong. Welcome to the system, everyone's a victim. Doesn't matter if you're black or white, it hates you all. Here inside the system, violence is a symptom. Fighting for what's right, but somehow everyone is wrong. Welcome to the system, everyone's a victim. Doesn't matter if you're black or white, it hates you all. Here inside the system, violence is a symptom. Fighting for what's right, but somehow everyone is wrong.
And a great job again by Nova Rockefeller on the video.
Yeah, amazingly well done. But I'd like to make a real prediction here, and I'm thinking I'm not maybe the only person that was a little put off by this one. I've never done this with a Tom MacDonald before. And if I'm wrong, let's find out. I'm going to guess this doesn't garner as many.
I'm not seeing that.
We'll see.
I think it'll be successful. I predict 2 million views by the end of the weekend, by Sunday night. Well, it certainly gives you hope that there are people like him at his age, 33, 34, who see through what's going on and are fighting back, and all the people in the Hangover gang who support him. And
indoctrination from the cradle is something that he's down on here, obviously.
Well, yeah, I mean, aren't we all?
Yeah, and isn't how we do it largely through our education system?
Unfortunately, very much.
And I mean, it isn't. I mean, lately it's accelerated, but we've always done that.
Yeah, each generation is taught, the common prevailing wisdom of the age, and some of that later turns out to be horseshit. I understand that. But I think things have taken a quantitative leap where now teachers are teaching, this gender dysphoria, gender theory, and, critical race theory, and really indoctrinating or attempting.
We
said the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag every morning when we went to school, right? You did that.
Sure.
Yeah, that was. I don't think they even do that anymore, do they? That would be, you can't pledge allegiance to God and country, and that's
I don't know. Do they say the Pledge of Allegiance?
I doubt it. Someone can write in and tell me.
I wouldn't be surprised if they still do. We gotta find that. Somebody ought to write a comment. Let us know.
In some conservative areas, they probably do, but I'm willing to bet that there are many school districts in this country that do not do it anymore. So we'll find out. Someone will let us know.
Holding in the way, that's what I heard them say. They used to heed the words he said, but that was yesterday. Gold will turn to gray, and youth will fade away. They'll never care about you, call you old